Welcome to the Black History Museum of Warren County, Tennessee. My name is Wayne Wolford. I'm the director curator, and this is my sidekick, tour guide, expertise when it comes to history and displays. Your name is?
My name is Rebecca Roberts.
Okay. And we want to welcome you here to this historic building. This is a clinic. It was established many years ago, and this is where a lot of people were born. Probably some of the people listening right now were born here or had different procedures done on them at that particular time. We were blessed to get this building. I can take you back a couple of steps, I'll say. I guess you say, well, how did this start? How did this premonition come about? Well, I'm retired military, and I was working with pace setters with mentally and physically challenged adults, and I let that job go too, so I had all this freedom. And when you're laying in bed there sometimes, the morning, night, or whatever, you get this premonition. And this voice came down and said, Wayne, you're retired now. I got something else for you to do. And I looked up. I said, what's that? He said, well, you're gonna start a Black History Museum. I said, a what? Black History Museum. I said, oh, I am? So I took the lead, and he said, just follow me, and I'll run you and guide you right through it. So this is where we are right now. I want to welcome each and every one of you here. We're going to show you a few items that we have. We want you to come and visit this facility. We won't open officially until Saturday, February the 20th of next month. And the opening ceremony is basically supposed to start around 10 a.m. We don't have a time set for coming in yet. We don't know whether we want to do 3 days like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday or what yet. So that is to be announced later on. But we want to welcome you to come and enjoy this history that we have here in Warren County. It is some very rich history here. So I guess without any further ado, I guess we will take you on a tour. Okay, what we have here is in the hallway. Back in '71, there was what they would call urban renewal. And not too far from here, maybe about 200 yards from here, is where this area was, this is the area that I'm talking about. We have maps here that once you come through in like 1971 is when this one was developed. It has the squares that where people own these places. And then on here, you can look here and check the number and then come here and see what name is here. It could be somebody's parent, grandparent, or great-grandparent. So that would be a good thing for local people to come and check out and see where you used to live or where your grandparents or great-grandparents used to live. Here, after extensive research and everything, there were some houses here that weren't livable, but there were quite a few houses that were livable. But yet, when urban renewal came through, anything you see here is dark or half dark or whatever, that was supposed to have been demolished. It's supposed to have been taken down. All of it really wasn't, but this is what it was worked on. And so you take this area here, and the people that lived here and went through this area at this time, they would know exactly where everything was. But if you go down now, it's very hard to depict where these places were, where the stores were, where the barbershops were, clothing, cafeteria, and stuff like that, cafes. So it would be kind of hard to depict right now. But this is just some of the stuff that when you come, you'll have a pretty good idea, and it'll take you back through memory lane. So this is what we have right now. A little bit later on, we're still going to be working with, I work with the plantation houses and the slaves and stuff like that. And actually when Warren County was developed and when that time frame came to where we were building at that time. We're in the starting phase of the museum, which you can pretty well tell. Once we finish, it's going to have a whole together different look. But right now, not knowing exactly what's what. Now, if this was an art museum, well, yeah, everything would be perfect, as you say, because you have pictures and photos and so forth. But since this is a museum talking about the history of Black people in Warren County, this is going to be the one where we'll have artifacts in here. We'll have things for as well when you cut grass or cut wood or whatever is going to be in here. And this particular room here, this is where, well, I kind of present my family more or less over here on this side. And on this side right here, we have authors. And we have several authors that I know of from Warren County. And even I have a book here that I had started, and I think this is my fourth year having it out. It's called Through Wolf's Eyes, and it depicts everything from slavery all the way down to military, baseball, semi-pro baseball, names of people that are here, and they were picked from census, death certificate, obituaries, marriage certificates, you name it. You know, we try to get as many people involved as possible. And there aren't stories on everybody, but what I'd like for you to do when you do come this way, we have an actual table that you can put down names, maybe of your children, grandchildren that lived here or were born here. Uh, Basically, somebody that has something to do with Warren County. That's what we want to do. So this is basically the way this room is set up right now. So like I said, we're in the starting phase of it, but it's coming along. It's coming along.
This is our sports room. A lot of the young men and the older men in McMinnville played on ball teams. We had two teams. We had the McMinnville Rockets and we had the Viola Clowns. And these are all pictures of them. And we wanted to commemorate all of our people who have participated in the sports. Up here we have Coach Dalton. Coach Dalton came here when he was in his 20s, and he came to Bernard School, which was the black school. And he he had a chance to play with the team that became the Harlem Globetrotters, but he chose to come here and work with our young men, and we are highly indebted to him. There's a gymnasium named after him. We have Wayne Wolford won the Humanitarian Award this year for 2020. We wanted to recognize that. And we have several young men who have went on to play pro ball, and that's what we do in this room. We've got balls that were signed by the teams, the Rockets, and a lot of these people have passed on, so this is very historical. We have some young people who are moving up through the ranks and becoming very important in sports. And we have Lester Strode, who was the Chicago Cubs. He was with the Chicago Cubs from, what was it, 1989 until 2019. So we have some very, very important and very influential people here. It gave us something to do on Sundays. We would get on school buses and go all around Tennessee and play ball. So we got to visit relatives and friends and have fun and see some pretty good fights. Back turn of the century, I read somewhere that there were over 600 black children in the school system in McMinnville. So obviously we had a big, huge population. By the time I came along in the 50s, they had thinned out substantially. A lot of them had moved to Detroit and all those other places. But we had our schools. We had several schools. We had about 3 or 4 rural schools. At one time down in Depot Bottom, there was a school for black children. The original Bernard is on the wall. It was built in 1921, and somewhere along the way, it says 1949, it caught on fire and it burnt down. And they came in and they built a new school, and that's the school that I went to. All of the teachers that were there was Miss Bessie T. Gwynn and Miss Maybelle Locust and Miss Gladys Spencer. There were several teachers that were there. Those same teachers taught my mother. So I was trying to figure out how they taught my mother and then taught me. They started teaching when they were like 14, 15, 16 years old, because you didn't have to have a degree then. You just had to have some knowledge. And the ladies and the gentlemen that taught us over there, they taught us all kinds of values that strengthened us as we got older. We learned the Gettysburg Address and the preamble to the Constitution and Patrick Henry's speech and all that thing. And in later years, I found out that those are the things that people learn when they're getting their citizenship, when they go for their citizenship. Most of the schools had pot-bellied stoves. We had one donated to us. It's very nice. All of the children enjoyed their schooling, but our teachers were very strict. They were very stern. They did not spare the paddle. and we knew it. And right now, I can recite a lot of things that I learned when I was 7 or 8 years old because it wasn't beaten into me, but I knew I had to learn it, so I got it and held on to it. We have several people that left here and went to college. They were dirt poor. They had nothing, and they went on to college, and they became very influential. Carl T. Rowan is one. He became the ambassador to Finland under John F. Kennedy. So, and then we've had several people that went on to do a lot of great things. The principal when I was at Bernard School was Professor Stamps, S.M. Stamps, and he was stern, but he was a really good father figure for a lot of us kids. You know, we needed somebody strong in our life. We have desks representing different years, different styles that we had coming up. This is our school. This is our school teacher. She's scary. And as I said, there's our pot-bellied stove. And we also had a slate board that was donated to us from the Blue Building across the street. We're trying to make this room look as close as we can to one of those one-room schoolhouses. And I didn't go to a one-room schoolhouse. Our school had a whole lot of rooms in it. But I'm proud to be from McMinnville and the education system that was given to us because it started us on the right path to become better people, strong people.
This is the room where it all started. I went through the museum and I had a little storage room and everything, and I wanted to get a general idea of how this was going to look. So this is where it basically all started. In this room, I have a bunch of names here from the black veterans that served in Warren County or for Warren County. And there's still a number of them that I don't have yet, and I'd still like to add them to the list. In here we are just basically showing American Legion Post 208, which was had a charter in 1945, and I'm the commander right now. I'm trying to still keep it going with the members that we have, and American Legion Post 208 is still going strong. We don't have a house or a place right now like so many other VFWs and American Legions, but we do have meeting places. The rest of the place here is basically set up. I have some pictures on the walls of veterans, and I have some pictures here on the TV that I've gotten all that I could cover at one particular time. I wanted to get at least 4 mannequins in here till I could have 4 of the main branches of service. I'm not diluting any of the other branches of service, but I want to make sure that I had one for Army, one for Air Force, one for Marines, one for Navy. And if we could get Coast Guard and so forth in here, that would be lovely. I would like to have that. So this is basically the way it was kind of set up. And a lot of these things were being used, and some of them are still being used for the military is concerned. Next to the wall, I do have a World War I stretcher that was donated to us. And if it could talk, I imagine it had a bunch of stories to go. So this is where it started. And so this is why when you look at the other rooms, you'll have a general idea of how it carried on. But this is one of the sacred rooms here.
Before urban renewal, we had a neighborhood. We had an extensive neighborhood. When I grew up, there were a lot of houses down there that were empty. And as I said, a lot of people had left here, migrated, went north, went south, went west, went east. They went everywhere in search of jobs because a lot of the economic things that they were doing here, mostly the farming, was starting to wind down. And it was going through some changes. So a lot of the houses down in our area, we called it the bottom, down in Depot Bottom and around down in there, they tore a lot of the houses out. So we got our hands on some of the pictures. So we have pictures if you want to come in and look at them and see how we lived, how it was. I thought that we were living pretty good until I got older and I realized that, well, we were happy though. I mean, not happy, but we were okay. We have pictures of the churches. We have pictures of the people that were in the churches. We had so many churches. This is our, where black residents lay in state because we didn't go to highs at that particular time. We went here, or the bodies lay in state at the house. We had several choirs, and they went around. The Willing Travelers, that was a combination of choirs in, it's the Clark United Methodist Church joined with Canet in Sparta, and they had a choir, and they traveled around and sang. This is a picture of the Brown Hotel. Anyone who's lived here knows about the Brown Hotel. It was one of the premier places that were here. These are the ladies that cooked at the Sedberry, which was the other hotel that we had here. These are people that I grew up with, and people that were very influential in our neighborhood. And in this room, we have a lot of artifacts. We have a lot of cameras and machines and just things so that we can show our kids and show people what we used and what we, the things that we had back then. This machine cabinet is over 100 years old. It's probably getting close to 200 years old now. Then we have a newer model there. We just wanted to commemorate. We invite people to bring us some pictures and some artifacts and some things so that we can represent each and every single family. We want everybody to feel welcome here. We want you to come in. We will talk you to death. And we love this. We love the thing that we're doing here. We want everybody to come in and participate and bring things to us so that we can log them. We have an extensive cabinet full of obituaries, and that way we're tracing the genealogy of our people, and it's very interesting. I learned a lot of things that I had no idea about, and it's really very enlightening. And we are a work in progress. If you come today, it'll look one way. You come tomorrow, it'll look another. But we want you to come often so that you can participate in the history that we are finding and that we are here to show to you. And we thank you, and come and see us.